Hi, guys, and happy Tuesday. Thank you for attending this week's episode of Top Gun Tuesday. This is your first time attending the webinar. Top Gun Tuesday is VMware's partner enablement series, where each week we go over one product in our diverse portfolio with a subject matter expert and take a deeper dive of why we should pitch it to our mutual customers. This week we'll be talking about Workspace ONE, which is our mobile device management platform. And if you've been in the industry for a few years, you may know Workspace ONE, formerly known as Airwatch. VMware acquired Airwatch a few years ago. Reid can probably correct me a little bit on that when that actually happened. I want to say 2017, rebranded to Workspace ONE and integrated into the entire VMware portfolio. So thank you guys for all attending today. And as always, feel free to invite any of your peers as long as you guys are at a registered VMware reseller. We'd be happy to have you every Tuesday at 10:30. Next week, we'll be talking about VMware Aria, which is a brand new offering that was announced at VMware Explorer this year. For those who aren't familiar with VMware Explorer, that is formerly known as VMworld. VMware Aria is our new vRealize suite, rebranded into a new name per se, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that next week. And as always, if you have any questions or want to have a follow-up conversation about today's episode, feel free to reach out to me. And then, as always, check out our YouTube channel where all the prior sessions will be available for download and can rewatch. I'd like to reintroduce Reid Dirksen, who's from our end user computing team, who covers Indiana, North Carolina, and Tennessee. End user computing at VMware is considered to be a part of our VMware Workspace ONE stack and Horizon, but today we'll be talking more just about Workspace ONE. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat and we'll be happy to answer them at the end or as long as we go. Reid, I'd like to pass it off to you now.
Thank you, sir. And good morning, everybody. It's great to be here and, more than happy to, walk through Workspace ONE with everyone. So put a presentation together just to kind of go through the motions here on, what Workspace ONE is and in general, kind of what value you can bring to your customers overall. So I'm going to go ahead and actually share my screen here just so you guys can see this. And overall, we can get started from there. So can everybody see my PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So to kind of go over, we did introductions, but kind of want to do the lay of the land as far as what everything revolves around Workspace ONE. So I kind of want to start with, the customer challenges we're seeing. How does Workspace ONE kind of solve these challenges around end user computing? How do I actually sell Workspace ONE as a reseller? How is it sold? Why should I sell Workspace ONE, and how do I engage your VMware team? So during the demo as well, we're going to stop to just give a brief look in terms of what this end user experience would look like for both the end user and then for IT and managing those devices. But to start off, I just kind of want to go through a lot of challenges in today's work environment. So as you know, there's a big shift to hybrid work. And with that being said, there's a lot of different challenges that are related to, this shift towards, a hybrid work style with working from home and then from working in the office. So a lot of people are experiencing, suboptimal experiences, which means that, people kind of want the same experience as they worked in the office back in the day. But at the same time, they want to work, seamlessly and productively, no matter where they are and no matter what device they have on their side. And with COVID, a lot of people had to transition to this, hybrid workforce or remote workforce where they didn't really have the tools nor the equipment to do so. But at the end of the day, a lot of people are valuing end user experience and just the productivity as well as the benefits of, remote work as a whole. So a lot of people, see remote work as a benefit. And there's a lot of different tools that you have to utilize in order to make it successful. The second thing that we're seeing from a lot of our customer bases is there's fragmented security. So there's a lot of different security initiatives that are here today, such as Zero Trust, antivirus, as well as, the traditional VPN. But overall, those tools are all scattered all over the place. They're not talking to each other. And in general, they're kind of siloed off. That, a lot of people have to leverage in terms of, from a cost perspective and in general for IT to kind of go around different tools for different, utilization. So there's a lot of fragmented security, which is creating those gaps, which ultimately, open up the room for, any malicious attacks or anything along those lines. But the third thing that we're experiencing or seeing our customer do is, operational complexity, meaning, a lot of different people have to utilize, different tool sets or in general, a lot of different, utilizations in order to make their hybrid work style work, as well as their remote work style work in general, and to keep the, the wheels running inside of the office. But, overall, with all this being said, a lot of people too, are relying on too many, third-party solutions to overall create this operational complexity in order to make, their workforce run. So what I mean by that is, traditionally in the past, you might know Workspace ONE or Airwatch is a mobile device management tool. People use it on their phones, wipe off of, any compromised information, or in general, just to keep everything secure and keep everything safe. And that's kind of a key part of the organizations today, just because a lot of people are leveraging BYOD or bring your own device to access email, as well as corporate owned devices to access corporate resources. But at the same time, there's a lot of tools that keep, organizations for their end users to grant a better end user experience, to get them productivity gains, as well as, to not compromise, their experience with any security initiative. So as you can see here, there's a variety of tools that people leverage day to day, that people use, or IT teams use, to overall kind of keep the wheels running on their side. So you have Jamf for Mass 360 for mobile device management, meaning, you can use that for iOS management. Mass 360 is more so of like an Android, iOS, unified endpoint management tool. You have a patching and imaging tool. A lot of people are, utilizing Manage Engine or SCCM just to keep, their Windows machines running, but the main disadvantage of that right now is basically they cannot scale off of the corporate network, meaning, but with people working remotely, they're not going to get their updates, they're not going to get their applications, as well as, they're not just going to get their resources, when they're working from home or in that hybrid work style. So that just creates a gap from that perspective, because they have to be on the corporate domain, and in general, they have to go back to the office to get those resources moving forward. So we're seeing a lot of customers on that side. A lot of people are leveraging MFA or dual factor authentication for their zero trust initiatives, and kind of creating that NIST compliance and checking off the boxes there. They're looking at secure tunnels, like Global Protect or Zscaler from like a ZTNA perspective. Windows 10 management, they're utilizing Intune or going with their Office 365 agreements, as well as Avanti and Mobile Iron to leverage that as well from a Windows 10 standpoint. They have app catalogs with Okta or single sign-on. They're using another tool for Baumgartner TViewer to troubleshoot or remote support, as well as, if they are a manufacturing facility, they're in distribution, or as well as they have any, Zebra scanners, frontline devices, scannable printers, that sort of thing. They have another tool, to manage kind of those devices as well. So with that being said, this adds up to, 5, 6+ tools that people need to rely on to support their organization with their end user computing goals and their end user computing needs. This adds up in cost. It adds up in support education, as well as, professional services across all these lines. And, with today's economy, with the inflation, as well as, people, getting let go from organizations, it's tough for organizations to, adapt new technologies. However, we've been helping a lot of customers on our side consolidate these tools into one single secure solution that can take advantage of all these use cases under one single pane of glass, to help out with costs, to help out, with them during this time, just so, we can be, flexible with what they're doing, and in general, kind of lead them on the path to a better digital transformation, as well as, with their remote work, as well as their hybrid work goals. So what this solution is Workspace ONE. So Workspace ONE is an enterprise grade solution that adapts access management to applications, the digital workspace in terms of, providing a single pane of glass to access all their company resources, regardless of what device they're on, and whether it's corporate owned or BYOD, utilizing zero trust security in terms of application control, compliance, integrating MFA, and in general, utilizing Workspace ONE unified endpoint management to manage any device, any application across wherever that end user may be. And a lot of different outcomes are coming from this, managing those multi-module experiences. People are wanting to take advantage of those mobile minutes day by day, especially from, the pandemic point of view. They're always on the go, and especially since a lot of millennials are in the workforce, they want things there and they want things now. So, if they have things at their fingertips, And Workspace ONE is providing that. That makes their productivity gains much better. It makes people more reluctant to stay at those organizations. And in general, it just creates a better, look and feel for their organization moving forward. The second is secure distributed edge. So we want to make sure that everything's secure on that side, adapting to those, zero trust initiatives that they have at this time. And in general, having that secure access to their applications, whether they're off or on the corporate network, or working remotely from wherever the end user may be. And the third is automate the workspace. So a lot of people are finding the advantages within automation, and Workspace ONE kind of provides that, to automate patching, automating, reports and analytics, and just integrating with existing tools such as ServiceNow, Carbon Black, that sort of thing, to most importantly alleviate some of those processes off of IT shoulders that people leverage day by day. And a lot of stakeholders today kind of have their skin in the game in terms of making the decisions regarding the digital workspace. But from an IT standpoint, a lot of people are focusing on visibility and manageability, looking into people's devices that are working remotely, making sure they're corporately secured, but at the same time, they're going to be, accessing their corporate resources productively, and making sure they're having a seamless experience, working from home and from working in the office. A lot of Workspace ONE customers too are involved with HR. So engagement and collaboration, making sure employees do have a positive end user experience, in making sure, they have all the applications they need and they're able to, have self-service. They wanted to change their password, and kind of reducing the help desk and for those tickets involved on that side. And most importantly, the biggest stakeholder involved in end user computing is the employees. It's all about their experience, but at the same time, we don't want to compromise their privacy. So Workspace ONE puts in place, privacy controls. So we don't look at their email, we don't look at their, texts, their photos, as well as their search history. So Workspace ONE brings together all of these value-added solutions, to ensure a positive employee experience, having those workflows, flowing with, a lot of different tools that they utilize today, having remote support that is built in the solution, managing the rugged devices if there are a frontline use case such as scanners, which, SOTI as well as Microsoft, kind of struggle with on that end, and providing vulnerability management and risk analytics that you could, kind of integrate with Carbon Black, and overall creating automation for those solutions. So there's a lot of different core solutions that are involved with it. UEM, which is Unified Endpoint Management, managing the whole lifecycle of any device, whether it's mobile or desktop. The Intelligent Hub acting as an agent where users can access all their applications that I'll show you in a little bit, and the productivity apps that are affiliated with it, where they can use secure email, secure content, as well as secure browsing on their mobile devices. And finally, we can loop in desktop and application virtualization that they can leverage through Horizon or Horizon apps, or remote desktop services. So overall, this provides a single digital platform to, more importantly, consolidate all those tools that you saw on the last slide into one single solution to promote, cost benefits to your customers, as well as consolidation moving forward. So with Workspace ONE, we are empowering that digital workspace to, ensure those customers' needs. It is a consumer simple, enterprise secure approach, meaning you can't customize or transform a user experience without a great user experience. And with an enterprise secure solution like Workspace ONE, we're not going to compromise any security to go there. So as you can see, they are provided a single pane of glass with applications on that catalog, so they can utilize that seamlessly across any of those devices moving forward. A lot of the benefits that are here for our customers overall is enabling the better employee experience. So we're able to increase retention because we're, providing them with a seamless experience, whether, they're leveraging single sign-on on their applications, getting the applications that they need, across any of their network, where they're working from home or on premise, as well as, attracting the best and most diverse talent and improving the productivity that they can leverage within Workspace ONE overall. You can broaden security effectiveness. A lot of people right now are filling out NIST check boxes for NIST compliance, as well as cybersecurity insurance. This is a perfect way to check off multiple boxes if they're looking into a zero trust solution. I know a zero trust can mean a lot of different ways. Never trust, never verify. It can go across the network and go endpoint detection, but at the same time, it starts with application control and actually, integrating MFA, dual factor, and overall making sure a device is compliant that they can utilize through Workspace ONE as well. So we're reducing that risk through better visibility into those devices, but overall you get to incorporate a bunch of different tool sets into one solution that you can broaden that security effectiveness on that side. And finally, we're reducing complexity and operational overhead. So we're eliminating a lot of legacy infrastructure with cloud native technologies. We're consolidating all those tools, as you saw on the second slide before, to create a better return on investment, that they don't have to spend a bunch of different money on, or funding on different tools for the same functionality that Workspace ONE does when it's one single solution. And overall, creating, automation. So for tasks for IT, they don't have to focus on doing those manual tasks overall moving forward. So what I wanted to show you really quick is just to see, what this looks like from a demo perspective. So I'm going to go ahead and get off of my screen here and actually go into my demo environment, which I can show you what this would look like from an end user's point of view. So you guys can see this firsthand and what value it would bring to your customer base from an end user's perspective. So going in here, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. You guys can see my Intelligent Hub, correct? Jared, can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So this is my landing page for all the applications I use on a day-to-day basis. We like to practice and preach, from a VMware perspective that, I utilize this when I started out in the pandemic, and I've been working from home ever since. But at the same time, I was able to get up and running, ever since, we got moved into the office, ever since COVID kind of struck in the United States. But overall, I have a single pane of glass where I can access all my web-based applications, SaaS-based, virtual applications, as well as, some of my internal applications I access, through the corporate network as well through a VPN. But at the end of the day, the cool thing about Workspace ONE is you can integrate, with your existing Active Directory, as well as, just promoting a single sign-on experience that you don't have to utilize multiple passwords. You can just utilize it into one. It's sort of like Okta. So to go in to show you kind of what an example looks like, if I want to go ahead and say, hey, I want to look into a training, for example, I can just go into Hive. I don't have to type in my password. It signs me on seamlessly, and I'm already in the solution in general. So that's kind of the value that brings to the table as far as, kind of from an end user experiences point of view. And I know we don't have a lot of time, but that's more so in a little bit of an example. But from an IT's perspective, if they wanted to look into, kind of managing devices on that side, we do have the Workspace ONE UEM. So it gives you a single pane of glass to not only, manage your device, but, kind of see, any endpoint that you have overall. So Chrome, Apple, Mac, Windows 10, as well as Android. And you can kind of incorporate this to see your total deployment, how many of those devices are compromised, those who have no passcode, and those are not encrypted. But for the sake of this, I'm actually going to go into a corporate owned, device here, and let's actually go to, corporate owned dedicated device, apply, go into, let's see, Windows 10. So I can see here, this is a specific, Windows 10 device that you can see kind of the full status and the full life cycle of what this looks like. You have remote assist already built in that you don't have to leverage through another tool. And overall, you can wipe it from security point of view, that sort of thing. So I highly encourage you, if you can, feel free to look at the resources online to give you a better definite scope of what this looks like from, this perspective from IT. And they're more than happy to kind of go through that side, or online or with your end user computing specialist that you align to through VMware. So to kind of go back into the demonstration, let me go ahead and switch screens again. I can actually see and show you kind of how to sell Workspace ONE on this side. So let me go ahead and share again. So overall, how do I sell Workspace ONE? So as a reseller or a partner, I highly encourage you guys, VMware does offer this solution from a mobile device management perspective. So if you do hear your customers ask, or have struggles with, managing their devices through Avanti or Intune or any legacy MDM solutions, this is a solution that can modernize as well as consolidate a lot of different use cases under one pane of glass. The second thing I would focus on, and if you hear anything on this side, is zero trust security. If they're looking into, more so, SASE or some solution like Zscaler, or in general, kind of making a never trust, never verify approach to, accessing applications, device compliance, etc. This is the perfect solution to leverage. And we do integrate like solutions like Zscaler into the solution as well. So a lot of people too, look into application management or having trouble, deploying applications, across different networks or different devices, this is a solution that can distribute applications from, MSIs, executables, Windows 64 apps, to any of these devices that are out in the environment, whether you're working remotely or on premise. And in general, if people are looking into working from home or struggling with remote work, perfect solution to do that as well. But the big thing we're seeing right now is Windows and Mac management, imaging, and patching. What we're able to do with Workspace ONE is incorporate modern management, which is basically a lot of the devices that are here today, such as Windows and Mac. Their APIs or just their operating systems are built like mobile devices. So we're able to manage them as so. So it's a very big jump from traditional imaging and patching or management through SCCM that we're able to, consolidate this in an easier way that's more cloud native. You don't have to rely on, on-premise infrastructure, and you can actually integrate or incorporate your existing on-premise infrastructure into Workspace ONE. The next thing too, a lot of people are focusing on, from a manufacturing or, they have scanners and healthcare. I know that's a big thing too, and scanning, kind of wristbands on that side with Zebra. We're able to manage the life cycle of those devices as well. And finally, in terms of like single sign-on and conditional access, it kind of plays into the zero trust security point of view. That's another keyword to look out for that can incorporate into Workspace ONE. So the biggest trends we're seeing too as well, is the hybrid workforce. As I mentioned, people are working from home and in the office. They want to make sure that experience is, correct both ways. But as I harped on before, the second thing is we're seeing is NIST compliance or zero trust security. So if you want to check off a lot of those boxes in terms of the NIST compliance and zero trust security in order for your customers to get cybersecurity insurance, perfect solution is Workspace ONE that can also incorporate and consolidate into, Carbon Black. We do have our own, SASE solution with VeloCloud SD-WAN. So that's a lot of different integrations that put together at one VMware story that can spread out, across, the portfolio overall. The next one is onboarding experience. So a lot of people are struggling with traditional imaging or patching. What we can do too is with OEMs like Dell, HP, and Lenovo, you can actually, onboard employees with their laptops from a out of the box experience point of view that you can utilize in order to, more importantly, not have IT kind of manage or touch those devices, but you can also have, those provisioned on the device side for those end users that it can leverage overall on that end. But BYOD is a big trend, as well as moving away from traditional PC management tools, and, employee experience and device onboarding as well is very important as well. But at the same time, I wanted to provide a list of questions, to ask to your customers in general, if you wanted to kind of utilize this moving forward, and looking into Workspace ONE applications is, how are you currently managing desktop and mobile devices? What's your strategy look like? How would you set up your end users if you knew the pandemic was coming? Kind of looking into common help desk tickets, as well as, just seeing how many tools they use, for their end users today. Are they using a solution for MDM? Are they using a solution for Windows 10? Are they using a solution for, kind of their app catalog, et cetera, et cetera? So it's a lot of way, to kind of look into this and the questions to ask on this side. So to go to the next slide here, kind of to go off and to, kind of finalize this overall from this presentation is, why should I sell at Workspace ONE? So overall, it's consolidation and cost savings. Like I said, it's incorporating multiple tools into one. It's a frictionless experience from your end users. You do an out-of-the-box provisioning in the factory for your end users for their device standpoint, just so they can get supported anytime, anywhere. You actually can shrink attack surfaces, integrate all those solutions together onto one pane of glass for continuous authentication and access control to incorporate zero trust security. And you can integrate with existing VMware solutions like Carbon Black, VMware SASE, or SD-WAN to complete a great anywhere workspace, portfolio or solution to, overall, support end users to work on any device, anytime, anywhere. And the big thing right now that we're focusing on is we do have a new logo promotion. So what we have right now is, customers that are looking into projects that are 10K list price or above that are net new to VMware. We do have a promotion that is offered till the end of January that you can leverage to incorporate, more ARR, do a SaaS only, more so customer base. That's the promotion that's qualified for. A customer gets a really good price. You get more margin, and as well as, this expires in a couple months. So you do have some time to incorporate this into your talk tracks and overall, kind of break the ice in terms of, what their strategy looks like on their end user computing front. But I wanted to show you kind of the quick pricing, what this looks like. And there's more options available. And I would highly encourage you guys to look at workspaceone.com to look at this. But this is from a 12-month prepaid standpoint, and is kind of offered from these different flavors of Workspace ONE overall. And to finally to, kind of go off of this moving forward, how do I engage the VMware team? I would highly encourage you to ask those qualifying questions when meeting with customers, identify those current initiatives or projects, whether it's cybersecurity, and kind of pitch zero trust, look into if they're purchasing laptops or desktops so you can incorporate, how these devices are managed, as well as, look into Office 365 migrations. We're finding a lot of customers that are looking into Intune or SCCM to dual manage those devices are having a tough time, incorporating their use cases on that side, even though, O365 is kind of taking the norm. But at the end of the day, we're hearing a lot of, difficulties and challenges our customers are seeing from those bases. If you want to register an opportunity, those keywords are mobile WO, anywhere workspace for Workspace ONE opportunities. And I would highly encourage you to, talk to your partner contact on the VMware side that can help you register them. But overall, try to introduce the VMware team on ongoing cadences. We can find opportunities for you really quick and, drive customers to a Workspace ONE webinar if they're wanting to learn more. It's every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So that being said, that's all I have today. So I'll open it up for questions. And Jared, if you want to, lead off on that, that would be great.
Yeah, thanks, Reid. And guys, VMware was just announced as a leader in the Magic Quadrant from Gartner, who does independent research on everything IT, and we're right up there in the top right corner as a leading vendor in innovation. We did get one question, Reid, is how much integration does Workspace ONE have with IoT devices? Is there a list of IoT devices / operating systems Workspace ONE works with?
Yeah, so there is.
Good question.
Yeah, it is a really good question. So there is a list that, you can, utilize through the solution. And it's on the documentation for Workspace ONE, but commonly it's, Motorola scanners, Zebra scanners, wearables such as, Google Glass, a lot of big people are doing into, looking into VR. That's a big thing as well for IoT, but, you can do wearables like your Apple Watch. So there's a distinctive list that is out there, but those are kind of the common ones that we see overall that customers are kind of utilizing across their portfolio and then in their environment.
And Reid, does Workspace ONE, is it compatible with all the operating systems or is it just one?
So it's compatible with Android, iOS, Windows 10, Mac OS, Linux, as well as, kind of more so newer operating systems too, like Chrome or that sort of thing. So there's a lot of different operating systems that it does support. The only thing that we do not support on our side yet is servers. So if everybody's looking for RMM or server management, that's something we do not support overall right now. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And Reid, and positioning on how important is the services and installation of Workspace ONE and deployment?
I think it's very important just to see the full value of the solution, just because, there are a lot of different use cases that, can be configured with services. Once you have, a deployment service, on the line, as far as when a customer purchases the solution, they may be accomplishing Workspace ONE for one use case, but at the end of the day, if you get to consulting and kind of having them as a guide to, look into their environment as a whole, they can see the value and like drive more use cases overall, which is future growth, as well as, just looking into kind of setting up the application catalog just to promote that user experience. So I think services is very, very important just to have customers, realize the big picture of Workspace ONE, just so if it's in their environment, they can see it firsthand how much of an impact it could have for their environment overall.
Yeah, absolutely. And we rely heavily on the channel and customers that have the MSC for Workspace ONE to implement those services for our customers. So it's absolutely a great play on top as a value add from the channel. So we appreciate the collaboration and everyone attending today's episode of Top Gun Tuesday. We are right at time and we'll catch you next week for VMware Aria. Thanks, guys.